Correct, yes. Sorry? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, Ibrahim, Muhammad, Musa, Isa, and Noah. And Noah, alayhi salam. Where's Ibrahim? Oh, there he is. Where's Imran? Is Imran here? Okay. Missing in action. Okay. I'm going to ask a question, and then I really want to give a prize for the person who knows the answer to this one. Musa A.S. has a nickname. There's a name for Musa A.S. or a description that is given to him and only to him that distinguishes him compared to all the other prophets. What is his distinguished nickname or description? Kalimullah. Allahu Akbar. What about a bottle of attar? Would that be a good gift? Okay, inshallah, I will a bottle of attar. So inshallah, continuing today, I want the younger brothers on this side who attended both days, give me quickly a recap of what we did in the past 2 days for the people who are new today. They know what we're talking about. Share. No, from the beginning. What about from Pharaoh? What did Pharaoh do?
He had a dream that he's going to die over the hands of children of Israel, so he started taking all the male children.
Okay.
And he said 1 year he would let children from Israel live to work as slaves, another year to die. So I don't know.
Okay, so in one sentence, Pharaoh, he was a tyrant, and there was a prophecy that there's going to be one of the children of Israel who's on his hand, the end of Pharaoh will be. So he slaughtered all the sons of Israel who were being born, and he enslaved the people, and he treated them very badly. And in one of the years where this is happening, Musa A.S. was born. And Allah inspired his mother. We know the famous story. And at the end, he ended up being raised in the house of Pharaoh. So Musa A.S., who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking care of him from day one, he's one of the chosen ones. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to live through this massacre, and he was raised in the house of the one who wanted to kill him. Do you think Pharaoh knew about this? He didn't know about this. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is in charge. Remember that from yesterday? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is in charge. And later on, when Musa grew up, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him wisdom, and he gave him, and he was well built, and he knew that he's not the direct son of Pharaoh. He knew that he's one of the Israelites, and he had an affinity for his people. And one day when he was in the middle of the market, and he saw that one of the Israelites is being beaten by one of the Egyptians, he came to his rescue, and he just beat him or struck him with one hand, or one strike, and from that he died. And Musa was very sad for what he's done. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, and he was also afraid of what Pharaoh will do. Because think about the mentality of the oppressor versus the ones who are oppressed. So if the oppressor, say for instance, an oppressor, you take this much from his land, he's going to say, you took over my whole land, and he's going to destroy the oppressed, correct? So he was afraid what Pharaoh will do, and the next day, we covered this yesterday, I'm just trying to go over it quickly. The next day, the same men again fighting one another, Israelite, and then Musa comes to his rescue again and tells him, you're a troublemaker. Again, you're fighting with somebody else. And he thought that Musa is about to strike him, and he said, you want to kill me like you killed somebody else yesterday? And he basically exposed his affair, even though nobody else knew about this except for both of them, Musa and that man. So Musa, what did he do? He fled Egypt, and he went in the direction of Midian. It was a very long, treacherous journey, and he endured so much in it, and he ended up being, he came to Midian, and then he saw that there was a group of shepherds watering their sheep, but there was 2 women on the side. And that story we covered yesterday. Do you want me to cover it a little more today, or just carry on? Because we have a lot to cover. Right, so we know the story, what happened then, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to live in Midian. He got married, and he even had children, and he stayed there for how many years? 10 years. Alright. So after 10 years, and after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with his wife and he had 2 children, Musa A.S. started feeling started feeling homey, basically. He wants to go back to his mother and his brother and his sisters, right? You remember from the beginning how the heart of his mother was so loving and so caring for him, and she was afraid for him. So what about if it's 10 years that have passed? And even though he was taken to the house of Pharaoh, Allah sent her back to the palace of Pharaoh, so she can take care of him and even get rewarded for what she was doing. So all his life he was with her, and now 10 years he hasn't seen her. So he's feeling home and he wants to go back to his family. And one thing to mention here, that those 10 years that he spent in Madian, what did he do as a trade? Musa A.S. He was a shepherd. And the Prophet ﷺ said that all the prophets who came before, all of them used to be shepherds. And this is something that teaches that the person himself a lot of patience and a lot of, in Arabic it's called Musa A.S, meaning that how to, if you want the whole flock to go this direction, you have to be very patient and you have to be very skilled in how to deal with these articles, with these subjects. Alright, so he wants to go back to Egypt to meet his family. He talked with his wife and he told her to get ready. So they got ready and they started their journey back to Egypt. And then they have to cross a desert. And the desert environment in the daytime is very hot and in the nighttime gets very cold. And there's no shelter in the desert. There's no trees, not much to go by. So they're going back on this long journey and the night is very dark. And it's very cold at night. And Musa A.S. he's going in that direction, but he found that he lost his way. So as if he's going in circles. He's going this direction, and then he found himself in the same place again, going this direction. It's cold and it's dark. So from the distance, he sees that there is some light, maybe some fire. So because of this, he tells his wife, remain here. I'll go to the direction of that fire, and maybe I'll find some direction, some guidance about our destiny, or where we are and how to get there. And also I'll bring back some wood so we can warm up. So he went to that direction, and that direction was a valley next to a mountain. What is the name of the valley? The name of the valley is Towa. And what is the name of the mountain? Correct. So he goes to that valley that's next to the mountain and he sees that there's nobody there, but there is light and there's a tree. And he feels an overwhelming sense of awe in his heart as he's entering there. And he comes closer to the fire and then he hears a voice that's not coming from one direction, a voice that he has never heard before, and it's coming as if it's coming from all directions. He doesn't know who's talking to him. And he hears, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing to him that blessed is the one who is in this location, and the whole land around it is blessed. Subhanallah. So he was very afraid. Where is this sound coming from? Then he hears once again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to him. إِنِّي أَنَا رَبُّكَ فَاخْلَعْ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِوَادٍ مُقَدَّسٍ طُوًى. In Surah Taha. So one of the beautiful surahs that is most beloved to my heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking to him, He says, take off your shoes. So we are in this blessed valley that is called Towa. And He tells him the great news that I have chosen you to be a prophet. وَلَخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. So listen to what I'm about to reveal to you. And then Allah reveals Himself to him, meaning that He tells him, إِنِّي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدْنِي وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. So now Allah tells him, I am Allah. There is none worthy of worship except for me, so worship me alone. So here, this is the beginning of his message. Allah is choosing him, this is the beginning of his message. And worship me alone, and establish the prayer for my remembrance. Then he tells him, إِنَّ السَّاعَةَ آتِيَةٌ أَكَادُ أُخْفِيهَا. Verily, hereafter is true. So believing in Allah and worshiping Him, and believing that you shall return to Him on the day of judgment and take into account for your deeds. The hereafter will come, the sa'ah, the hour will come, and people don't know anything about it, as if it's hidden. And during that time, people will be taken into account for their deeds. So don't be taken back by those people who disbelieve in Allah and the hereafter. Don't be taken back by them. So just think about this. You're making dua. How do you feel? And when you hear in the Quran, how do you feel? And when you're standing yesterday behind the Imam and he's making dua, how do you feel? How do you feel? How would you feel if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking to you? This great sense of awe coming upon him. And he can't believe himself that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to him and telling him directly. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him and asks him, what is this thing in your right hand? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Right? He knows everything. And Musa is longing to this conversation with the creator of the heavens and the earth. Tayyib this morning was reminding us of Jannah. And one of the most beautiful things in Jannah is that you will talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this world, what is the description again given to Musa A.S? Kalimullah. He is the one who talks to Allah directly, without hijab. What is this thing in your right hand, ya Musa? Musa is astonished. Musa is asking me, even though he knows everything. And he wants to talk to Allah, so he tells him, this is my staff. So this is my staff, right? And it could be enough that he says, and he answers the question directly, this is my staff. But because he wants to he's longing and he's looking forward and he is enjoying this wonderful conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, this is my staff. I lean on it. It's my staff. I lean on it and means that with his sheep, when the sheep are grazing, he uses it to guide them and also to break the bushes, right? Cut the bushes. And there's many other uses for it as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, Alqiha ya Musa, throw it. I'm not going to throw it. You guys asked not to, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks him to throw that staff. So he throws the staff, and what happens to it? It miraculously changes from a wooden staff into a huge snake. And not just that, it's huge in size, and it's moving very quickly as if it's a jinn. You know how the jinn can move very quickly? You know the story of Sulaiman? The jinn can move very quickly. And it's moving very quickly. So Musa a.s, upon seeing this, everybody who would see this would become so afraid. He became afraid. He turned his back and he started fleeing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, come back, Musa. Don't be afraid. The messengers with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not supposed to be afraid. And we shall return it back to its original state. So you can think about it. It's a huge snake. And it's moving very fast. Allah tells him, put your hand and take it back. Right? This snake over here that is huge. Just put your hand and take it back. He listens to the order of Allah. He touches it. Once he touches it, it turns back to the wooden staff that it was. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, so put your hand in this area of your body towards your chest, like this, and bring it out. Put your right hand this way, bring it out, and it will become white, shining with light. And it's perfect, meaning that sometimes there's imperfections in your skin. It's perfect, and it's white and it's shining with light. And these two, the staff and your hand, are two signs for you that you shall take back to Fir'aun. Go back to Fir'aun with these two signs and warn them. So Musa A.S, he's going to go back now from where he was in the desert. He is given the task, the mission, to go to Fir'aun and tell them to let the Israelites go. Let my people go, right? Let the Israelites, Banu Israel, you were enslaving them and you're treating them very badly. Now release them and let them go. But, as we know in Surah Taha, let me go back to it again. He says, اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. So Allah commands him to go back to Fir'aun. What did he say? A beautiful dua. He says, قَالَ رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. The dua that many of us heard before, we know when we say it. قَالَ رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. Oh Allah, expand my chest. What does that mean? It means, oh Allah, give me confidence. Give me strength and confidence. Expand my chest, meaning that I feel content inside of my chest. I feel vastness in my chest. And that means to feel confident and content and bold, and fierce or bold, not afraid. قَالَ رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Make my affair easy. This is a big task. We're talking about the man who's claiming that أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. He is the one that he asks the people to worship him. And I want to stand and take 1 second here about this. In general, if you take a look at the affairs of the people, the one who controls, or the ruler, who basically people ascribe to him that he's taking care of the affairs of the whole land. And he is the one who is giving security, right? Security from the people who are coming from outside or from within. There's a police force, there's the army, who's in charge, who's the commander-in-chief, it's him. So people attribute to him, if he's the king, that he is the one who takes care of all of our affairs. That's why you find in history that people magnify their king so much, and in this case, they even worship them, right? They always say, let's say for instance in England, God bless the Queen, and it's the Queen of England, and the King of England, whatever it might be. And just think about it, and even in Egypt nowadays, people are putting this new president on a pedestal because he's the one who's giving us security, he's the one who protected the civil war from happening, and he's this and he's that. And one of the people even said on TV, if this guy tells me that this man who I claim as my father is not my father, I'm going to believe him. He says, if he says this is not my father, I'm going to believe him. Absolute craziness. Anyway, so I just want to give you an insight. How do people think a human being who's created, and they know that he was born, and he will die, and he can't even allow his wife to become pregnant, right? The wife of Pharaoh was not pregnant. That's why she took in Musa as a son, and so forth. So, he says, make my affair easy, make my matter easy. Going to this tyrant over here who's enslaving the people and killing them and standing in front of them, make my affair easy and make me full of confidence. And also, وَحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِنْ لِسَانِي, and untie or loosen the knot in my tongue. And it was said that Musa A.S. used to have a lisp. So he would talk, and maybe he wouldn't be very clear, maybe he would stutter. And it was said that when he was young, he heard, he was sitting on Pharaoh's lap, and he hurt him somehow. He pulled his beard. So the Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, said, he's just a kid. He wanted to punish Musa when he was a little baby. Just think about this: a toddler. You pulls your beard, he pulls your hair, he pulls your ear, right? What do? You just let him be. Pharaoh, being Pharaoh, he wanted to punish him. So she told him, don't punish him, he's just a little kid. He doesn't know the difference between al-tamra or al-jamra. Tamra is a date. Jamra is a wooden, is a coal, right? You want to know the difference. To them it's the same. So he wanted to test this little child, this little toddler, and he brought a tamra, a date, and fire. So he took the fire and he put it in his mouth. Or the rock, he put it in his mouth, he got his tongue burned. And that's one of the explanations. It's an explanation. Allah, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's mentioned in the Sirah al-Tabari. So he asked that because he has this lisp, or he has this stutter, he wants that when he speaks to the people, he's delivering the message from Allah. He wants the speech to be clear. He wants it to be very, very obvious, so that people understand his speech. He also is asking for support from his own family. Make me a deputy from my own family. And he specifically chose Harun Akhi. Ushdud bihi azri. So increase my strength with him and make him share with me this task of conveying the message, so that we can glorify you and remember you much, and you are aware and all-seeing of our affairs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds directly to this request, so his dua, and he says, قَدْ أُوتِيتَ سُؤْلَكَ يَا مُوسَى. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him that I have been taking care of your affair from before, long before. Maybe even Musa wouldn't know all this, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informing him and telling us and telling him about the story of his his mother and all that. And he tells them something very, very, very beautiful. That I have chosen you for myself. وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي. So you and your brother go with these signs and do not slacken and become weak in my remembrance. So now they have this task. This amazing task. He's telling them, keep my remembrance on your tongue. Because when you remember Allah, Allah is with you. When you remember Allah, Allah takes care of your affairs. When you remember Allah at times of ease, He takes care of your affairs at times of distress. Allahu Akbar. So go to Fir'aun, and then this is the person who says, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. Allah tells him to say to him, فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. Talk to him in a mild and pleasant tone. Maybe he would remember, or maybe he would be admonished. Talk to him in a gentle way. This is the person who is saying, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. One of the scholars says, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying about the one who's claiming, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, talk to him in a gentle tone. How merciful is Allah? What do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would do to the person who prostrates to Allah in sujood and says, Subhana Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah. And Allah subhanahu assures them again that I am with you and I hear everything that happens and I see everything that happens. So tell Fir'aun, send Banu Israel with us, let my people go, and do not punish them and torment them anymore. We have come to you with a sign from Allah, and peace is upon those who follow guidance. What happens next? Inshallah, we'll find out tomorrow. So, can we extract a couple of lessons from what we have covered today? There's much more prepared, but subhanAllah, the story is so beautiful, and the speech in the Quran is so beautiful, the verses are very beautiful. Mentioned Surah Taha, mentioned Surah Sa'ara, even Surah Al-Nazi'at, part of it is Surah Al-Nazi'at. So many beautiful ayahs. For instance, Surah Al-Nazi'at, the gentle speech. What did he say in Surah Al-Nazi'at? وَلَا أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى? What is the rest of it? Ahmad? Surah Al-Nazi'at. وهل أتاك حديث موسى إذ ناداه ربه بالوادي المقدس طوى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقل هل لك إلى أن تزكى وأهديك إلى ربك فتخشى. Beautiful words. فقل هل لك إلى أن تزكى. Wouldn't you want me to tell you something that will give you purification? Zakat, تزكى, purify you and give you benefits in this world and the hereafter. If you come to the worship of Allah and let go of your ways, let go of this false thing that you're saying, that أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. Allah is going to reward you in this world and give you even greater riches in the hereafter. And I will guide you to your Lord. Maybe you'll have khashya from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so inshallah we'll continue with this tomorrow. Some of the lessons that we can extract from the brothers, inshallah, please go.